Introducing Be Heavenly, where nature meets purity. Our 100% natural virgin cold-pressed oils are a blend of goodness and flavor. From coconut to sunflower, groundnut to sesame, safflower to mustard, we've got your culinary needs covered. Elevate your dishes with the essence of nature. Be Heavenly. Taste the difference today.
Hello and welcome to Dr. VGP Talk Show. Hello and welcome to the 60th episode of Dr. VGP Talk Show that reaches 42 million households, including 2 million across Chicagoland and America. Today's guest is a phenomenal public elected official who has served 8 years in the United House of Representatives, who created history on the grand finale of the Democratic National Convention held recently in United Center in August of 2024. His congressional office has a record of closing 11,000 constituent cases in the last 8 years. That's right, he has closed successfully 11,000 constituents' requests in the last 8 years. He also serves as the first South Asian to head a congressional committee, a very special bipartisan committee of the Congress on China and United States strategic relationships. Here today in this episode, what our Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthhi, the first Indian American congressman from the state of Illinois, has to say about what ails America today and about his role on trying to sit over and contain the Chinese Communist Party. Also, you're going to listen to Raja Krishnamoorthhi talk about issues happening in America today and how to resolve them. Sit back and enjoy this 60th episode of Dr. VGP Talk Show. Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthhi, the first Tamilian congressman in the history of United States. Hello and welcome to Dr. VGP Talk Show that reaches 42 million households, including 2 million households across the United States. We are here with Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthhi,
thank you,
who is creating waves across the country after his debut speech at the Democratic National Convention, the grand finale. And Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthhi, our hero, had the unique, historic, I should say, opportunity to speak on the same day, on the same evening that Vice President Kamala Harris gave her acceptance speech for becoming the Democratic nominee of for the President of the United States of America. That was historic indeed. Congressman Raja, what's your take and how did you feel on speaking at the Democratic National Convention over the overwhelming crowd there?
It was a thrill. It was a thrill. I wasn't prepared for the moment when I walked out and I saw 25,000 people, and then we learned of the crowd that was watching online and on TV live. It was quite an amazing experience. My first time ever doing that, and I'm just so honored to have been able to do it.
It must have been. What was soon after you got off the stage? How did you feel?
I felt good. I felt good. I got a lot of positive feedback, a lot of text messages. Of course, my most important fan, my wife, said that I did a good job, and that meant a lot to me. But my parents were there as well, and that was a special moment to have them there.
Absolutely. For all of us, we share your pride as being the first Indian American congressman from the state of Illinois, and for me particularly as the first Tamil American congressman in the country, representing us since 2016. Tell us about your role and recent appointment, which is another historic first, as the ranking member of the Select Committee on the Strategic Competition between the United States and the Chinese Communist Party. You also made history as the first South Asian American to lead a congressional committee.
Well, thank you, Dr. VGP. By the way, you've been just such a tremendous supporter, somebody that the community really looks up to for all of the support that you give people. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
This particular committee is centered on perhaps the defining competition that the United States will be engaged in for the foreseeable future, which is how do we make sure that we win the economic, security, and technological competition between the U.S. and China. Unfortunately, what we've seen is the Chinese Communist Party has employed aggression in each of these spheres in a way that really disadvantages not only the U.S., but its partners, friends, and allies around the world, including India, by the way. And so we have to band together with those folks and others to set the international rules of the road, so to speak, so that we don't use aggression toward other countries, but we work together in peace and harmony, and we do so in a competitive spirit, not one where we're trying to conquer others or trying to disadvantage them or trying to kick them while they're down.
Very well said, and I think the Congress couldn't have selected a better person than you with your erudite scholarship, your diplomatic bipartisan attitude to resolve this issue and at least to keep it under control, if I may say.
I think that this is one of those areas where, as I said in my speech at the Democratic National Convention, China wants us to be divided. That is their theory about America, that we are hopelessly tribal. We are divided between Democrats and Republicans and between regions. And so we have to unite as a country around, how do we win this competition? How do we do it in a bipartisan way? And how do we work with our friends, partners, and allies around the world?
Wonderful. Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthhi, I think the constitution of this committee, I feel some of the Chinese American communities who are United States citizens, and every major city in America has a Chinatown.
Sure.
So there's a sizable population of Chinese immigrants who are integrated into the American would I say the American citizenship and the American growth in its economic and its strength. Some of them are feeling threatened how will you address them and assuage the feeling for the Chinese American citizens here who are living and being productive citizens of the United States? Does this committee have any repercussions on them?
That was the fear about this committee,
Correct.
but we made it very clear that our quarrel is not with the people of China, it's not with people of Chinese origin or Chinese Americans whom we're very proud of,
Exactly.
who've done so much to contribute to our country. Our quarrel is with the Chinese Communist Party and the way that they conduct themselves and they lead the People's Republic of China. And so with regard to my friends in the Chinese American community, I say to them, we embrace you, we welcome you, we celebrate you, and we need you to win the competition with the Chinese Communist Party and others. In fact, as one of my colleagues on this committee has said in the past, really the Chinese Communist Party has done great disservice to the people of China and to others. We have to do everything we can to do the opposite, and we have to avoid stereotypes. We have to avoid the hate that Donald Trump and others have created toward Chinese origin people. And so I'm committed to that as an Asian American, as an Indian American, as a friend of so many people in the community.
Friends, you heard loud and clear Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthhi saying that the Chinese American citizens are very much part of the American fabric of economic prosperity and development, and this committee does not have any repercussions or any kind of double standards towards the Chinese American citizens of America. Thank you, Congressman Raja, for that very great clarification, and I hope that message resounds across America that the Chinese Americans are very much like every other American citizen, have the same powers, and especially the business community,
yes,
that the federal government is not going to frown upon their expansion plans or any of their development plans.
Absolutely. We welcome Chinese American investment. We welcome the expansion of their businesses. They are already a part of America. They're part of the mosaic of America. They are very successful people. I don't need to tell them what they should do and should not do. All I can say is we celebrate them. We celebrate their accomplishments.
Absolutely.
And we want them to help us to win the global technological competition, among other things.
You're absolutely right. We also have a Chinese American congressman.
Yeah, we have Chinese
from California.
We have multiple members of the diaspora who are elected officials across Illinois and across America. We want them to succeed, and we want to partner with them however we can.
President Biden has also appointed a high-ranking official, Assistant Secretary of State, a Chinese, who looks after the immigration process.
Right, and you know, we have so many people of Chinese origin who've done so well. We need to partner together. We need to work together. We need to celebrate each other because of that old saying, if you want to go fast, you can go alone. If you want to go far, we have to walk together.
Absolutely. Congressman Raja, your education is celebrated. Being a valedictorian of your Peoria High School class, that itself was an achievement. Your Princeton University degree in mechanical engineering, your Harvard Law degree, along with a federal court clerkship, federal judge's clerkship. I mean, it's indeed a huge success story of a child of an immigrant who utilized all the public benefits, student loans, scholarships, and who has arrived today on America's center stage on policy making.
I think that's the American dream. I'm just one of many people who've managed to participate. But as my father and mother would tell me, we have to make sure this country is there for the next families who need it, so they can also climb the ladder and achieve their own potential.
That leads me on to what I was going to ask you next, Congressman Raja. How important are the America's existing public benefit initiatives like Medicaid, link cards, food stamps, energy assistance, affordable housing to continue to build a broad framework for an economic secure country?
Extremely important, because remember, everyone falls down at some point. It's just a question of somebody being there to lift them up, give them a hand up so that they can, you know, get back on their feet and start running again. That's what happened to my own family. I think I've told you this before, but my father lost his income in the recession of 1973, and thanks to the American people, we were allowed to participate in public housing and food stamps. So I spent about half of my early childhood in those two programs. But for those types of public assistance programs, I would not be here today. But for public schools, I would not be here today.
See, this is a resounding message which I'd like all our viewers, especially our thriving Indian American community, to get through their skull, excuse for the language, because the many conversations I have, they are all very critical today, Congressman Raja, of the public benefit programs. Here we have a living example, a resounding success, and with Project 2025,
right.
You know, it's so important to redrive that position, tell our own ethnic and immigrant communities, we all came through using the benefits, and we should continue to support strongly the democratic vision of keeping these public benefits alive.
You can't climb the ladder and then pull the ladder up so other people don't have a chance to climb.
Sir. Could you repeat it loud and clear, sir? Will you please tell that all our fellow Americans here today?
We cannot climb the ladder and then once we've reached the destination, pull up the ladder so that others are prevented from doing what we did. We have to make sure that that ladder is always there for everyone. In fact, I like to say we want to put everyone on the up escalator of the economy. And some people might require a little bit of assistance, other people might require more, but everyone requires some. And we have to be there to provide at least some to everyone.
You have just heard Congressman Raja Krishnamooorthi is telling us in very simple words the importance of America's public benefits system and the immigration system. Congressman Krishnamooorthi, what are the three major challenges America faces today?
Well, fixing our legal immigration system is a big challenge,
#1.
along with our border, right?
Okay.
I think this is our #1 killer competitive app as a country, and we got to fix that to make sure that we continue to renew America. Another challenge is, continuing to reduce the cost of living. I think the pandemic obviously increased a lot of costs, and we have some legacy issues associated with that. But the best way to reduce costs is to increase competition, increase supply, and thereby lower prices. That's true across the board. The third, I think, challenge that we have is how do we come together? How do we unify? How do we get past the bitter partisanship and divides that prevent us from kind of deploying our full energies toward some of our biggest challenges? I talked about the competition with the Chinese Communist Party. Unless we come together and unify, we're not going to be able to win. And so that's something that I preach all the time.
So could you repeat all the three
Sure.
American challenges? The first one was
the legal immigration system. We've got to fix that along with the border. Secondly, we have to lower the cost of living for everybody. And that means more competition and more supply of goods and services and reducing prices. And then the third is coming together, overcoming our bitter partisanship and divides. If we can do that, then we can deploy our full energies against the main challenges facing our country. And if we can do that, we can overcome anything.
Very well said. You'll just listen to Congressman Raja Krishnamooorthi outlining the major challenges America faces today, and he has said it so simply, and I think if we all try to do our bit to fulfill that, will help in the long run. Sir, your first public position was a Special Assistant Attorney General to then Illinois Attorney General Lisa Madigan, where you helped start the Public Integrity Unit to root out corruption in Illinois. And then you served as Illinois' Deputy Treasurer. And coming closer to home, what are you doing to combat the rising mental health challenges?
This is a great question, because unfortunately what we're seeing is that mental health issues are affecting more of our population and more of our young people.
Absolutely.
That is the one alarming issue that has come across my desk, and I'm sure that you see this all the time, which is since the pandemic, which really scarred a lot of people, our young folks are are in need of greater mental health care. And so one of the things that I've advocated for is we need our schools to start to do more, not just with regard to people's physical health, which is obviously important, but also their mental health.
Absolutely.
And we need to make sure that at the federal level, we mandate, for instance, that health insurance companies pay for mental health the same way that they pay for physical health care. And we do everything we can to avoid the substance use disorders, which are also kind of the flip side of some of our mental health issues, right? When people go into the mental health spiral, so to speak, then they start to self-medicate. It used to be just alcohol, although that's very bad. But then it has become these other substances such as opioids, and then now fentanyl. Yes. And other types of substances, which then cause the mental health issues to become even worse, and then could lead to an overdose and death. And so those are some of the problems that we have to address, fully.
I think, Congressman Raja, you said this right things at the right time. You yourself have contributed or got the federal government to one of your mental health agencies in your district $250,000. You have also founded the Congressional Caucus on Youth Vaping Epidemic.
Right.
You took the initiative to do that, and that's very important. Now, also we always often hear in Chicagoland the increase of crime and gun violence. Now, what do you think what we are not doing?
What we're not doing? Well, obviously at the federal level, we're not dealing with the gun violence problem as we should, because as you know, Illinois and Chicago could have rather restrictive common sense gun control laws. But if Indiana and Wisconsin don't, guns can flow from those areas into Chicago, and that's what happens. At the scene of any crime, it turns out that a large proportion of the what are called the crime guns come from out of state. So that's one thing that we have to do at the federal level. A second thing that we have to do is we have to invest in economic development, especially on the west and south sides of Chicago. I know this is a cause near and dear to you, given all of the work that you do in Chicago. But where there is hopelessness, where there's a lack of hope, then you're going to have all kinds of activities that don't help anybody. And at the end of the day, I believe that everyone joins a gang.
Yeah.
Everyone joins a gang. You and I have had the privilege of joining gangs or clubs or associations or groups that lift us up.
Very well said.
Other people, they don't have that. Instead, they join gangs that bring them down.
Correct.
So how do we make sure that everyone has access to hope, to economic opportunity, to jobs, and then to those clubs and gangs that take them, to places that we want them to go?
No, you hit on a very vital point, I would say, striking at the root of all our problems. Your congressional district includes Chicago's West and Northwest District, and interestingly enough, the 41st Ward of City of Chicago.
Right.
Now, employment and job opportunities of Chicagoland, like you correctly said, could be part of the solution to all what we're going through. Do you think startups, incubators, self-employment, are they the key to increased jobs? You yourself served as the president of a small research-oriented business developing technology in national security and also renewable energy industry, solar technology. What is your advice to not only to the policymakers, to the general public, community leaders, to try to help to resolve or increase job opportunities, and also on today's generation on entrepreneurship? So, because you have had the best of both worlds, great education, being a private entrepreneur, and being in public office, and still, so you should give us the mantra of what we should do going forward.
I think it all starts with education and training. If we can provide a high quality post-secondary education, so after high school, right? They could be vocational training, it could be skills-based and technical training, it could be community college. Of course, it can be four-year university, but the point is everybody should be able to follow the path that they want to follow, and we should support them. Currently, unfortunately, in America, we push too many people down the four-year college path when we should actually listen hard and say, okay, what do you want to do? and how do we get you on the path to success in your chosen dream, okay? That's point one. Point two is we should constantly be looking for ways to enable them to become entrepreneurs as they wish, okay? I know that as Indian Americans, we want our children to go to college, and that's fine. But if they were to choose a path that would lead to the starting of a business, I think that would be just as celebrated, and people would be just as happy. But that means we have to give them, the skills to know a trade, to
skill development.
Yeah, to code, to start a website, to create an app, to do all the things necessary to win at entrepreneurship. Once we do that, then they can fly.
Excellent.
They can't fly without wings. We need to give them wings.
Exactly. You said it so well, Congressman Raja. Where do you see yourself from 5 years from now?
In 5 years, I hope I can make a bigger difference. I think we've made a difference as an office. We closed our 11,000th constituent services case.
Wow.
And thanks to my excellent staff.
11,000 constituent, you closed. Wow, yeah. That's a record in itself.
It's a lot of cases in 8 years, right?
Yes.
And imagine the stories. I know you know of some of them yourself, but we've helped, someone who was hunted by the Taliban get out of Afghanistan. We've helped people on their life and death situations come and visit their relatives before their last breath. We've helped people in their immigration problems. We've helped people with Social Security checks and missing articles that they deserve from the federal government. The point is that if in 5 years I can do even more of that, then I feel that I'll be happy.
You've done an incredible job, Congressman, and we look forward for you continuing that. Concluding our episode today, could you, if you're given an opportunity to take 3 people out for dinner from the past to the present, who would those 3 people be?
Well, Abraham Lincoln would top the list.
Wow. Good.
I think he would be a cheap date because he'd be very reasonable, but an incredible experience learning from him. I think a second person that I would want to hear more from, of course, is Mahatma Gandhi, our own Gandhiji, who I know you celebrate every year at Gandhi Jayanti, a towering figure in history who I believe can teach us a lot about how to think and act nonviolently in a time of unfortunate conflict. And then the third person I would want to interact with is, of course, FDR, Franklin Roosevelt, who overcame tremendous adversity, whether it was his own polio, whether it's his physical adversities, or whether it was World War II and the Depression, to lift up a country to achieve its potential. Anybody who thinks that you can just do it alone without government is not a student of history of that time, which illustrated that government is vital, it's essential, but it has to work for people. And that's what he did in his time.
Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi named Abraham Lincoln, Mahatma Gandhi, and Franklin Roosevelt as 3 of the people are his heroes that will show you his mental makeup. On that same strain, Congressman Raja, I know we are wrapping up this wonderful, enlightening episode. In 3 words, how would you describe yourself?
Determined, optimistic, and grateful.
Great. Raja Krishnamoorthi describes himself as determined, optimistic, and grateful. Such a wonderful choice of adjectives. This man you're seeing in front of us today and his success, and he's helping constituents, not only in his constituents, Americans across the country and beyond. The success of it, not only his 2 parents. Tell us about your wonderful wife, Priya, and your 3 children. They must have grown up now. Where is the eldest one, Vijay?
Well, the oldest one, Vijay, your namesake, is 19. He's a 2nd year in college. Our second one...
In Princeton?
Yeah.
Wow, he's falling after his father's footsteps. Great.
I think he'll do much better.
Oh, fantastic.
My second boy is a sophomore in high school, and then the third is a 3rd grader, 8 years old. So we're very happy. And of course, Priya, she's the big boss. she's my home minister, and she's the one that
most
really
successful anesthesiologist also.
Yes, she sets the foundation for everybody.
Thank you so much, Congressman Raja. Could you give us a brief parting message to our viewers as we conclude this interview?
Dr. VGP is a role model for the community in terms of helping people. I often joke at his events, if you need something, you dial 1-800-VGP, and he jumps to the occasion. But in all seriousness, I hope that everybody out there can reach out to a friend, to a neighbor, to a loved one, to a family member, see how they're doing today, offer them some encouragement, try to help them. And as my friend Jesse White, the famous Secretary of State in Illinois, likes to say, help one person every day, and you'll live a good life.
Thank you so much, Congressman Raja Krishnamooorthy, in spite of your busy schedule, for beating us, and it has been such an enlightening experience and having us on it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Introducing Be Heavenly, where nature meets purity. Our 100% natural virgin cold-pressed oils are a blend of goodness and flavor. From coconut to sunflower, groundnut to sesame, safflower to mustard, we've got your culinary needs covered. Elevate your dishes with the essence of nature. Be Heavenly. Taste the difference today.